Hello everybody, this is Mateo. We are currently at the Whirl Islands, which are just outside of... Shoot, I can never remember the names of the towns in this game. It's the one with Chuck as the gym leader. It's the home of the, fighting-type gym leader, right outside there. I showed it on the map right there at the very beginning for like a second. So if you need to see where it is, go back there and pause it, because I really didn't give a lot of time to see where that is. I don't want to get rid of Spark, because that's Lantern's, like, only electric-type move, but Thunder Wave can paralyze. I'll just get rid of Paralyze. I could have gone to a move deleter and deletes Waterfall, but we're gonna have to use Waterfall eventually again anyway, so might as well. Actually, no, I don't think we do. So yeah, really should have just gotten rid of Waterfall, but you know, whatever. Oh well. So here we are at the Whirl Islands. They're at that place I said, go check the map if you really need to. This is the home of a legendary Pokemon called Lugia, and we'll get into more of that Pokemon when we find it. First off, we need Flash, or you just need to completely memorize this entire place. I taught it to Ariados because he can learn it, and he really didn't have very many good moves. There are actually 4 different little islands that you can enter this area from. Each of them has a different whirlpool that you can go to, and then you go to the island and go in there. And one of them will lead you very close to Lugia. The other 3, I don't know if they can even get you to Lugia. I think they just have items all around. And this is one of those pathways that just has items. I apologize right now, I really do not know the layout of this cave as well as I know the layouts of other caves. Mainly because I've only been through this place one other time, and that was during my first Let's Play of this game, about 2 years ago, and that's the only time I've been through this place, so I really don't know it too well. We're just gonna try to explore here. I can tell you right now, this first 5 minutes or so is just gonna be grabbing items, because again, I really don't know this place. And I mean, grabbing items is something at the very least, I guess. Okay, well there's that strength rock right there, but if I were actually paying attention, I would notice that that would just bring me to where I was, but apparently I wasn't paying attention. One nice thing about this cave, though, is that we have a couple new Pokemon, like 2 or 3 other than Lugia. For one, we have Seal, which is I think it's just a water type, and then it'll evolve into a water-ice type. I'm not sure about Seal's typing, but it evolves into a water-ice type at the very least. Into Dugong, which is an alright Pokemon. In this game, he's pretty good because you really don't have too many water-ice options, or ice options in general. But then in later games, he's just completely outclassed, mostly because of his plethora of weaknesses. But I mean, Dugong's alright, I like him, I used him in Pokemon Yellow, and he did very well in that game. Pretty much sweeped half of the Elite Four on his own, along with Slowbro. But you know, whatever. So there you go, we got a Seal, which evolves around level 30-something. We'll evolve that when we get out of here. Also, we have Horsey, which is a pure water type. In Yellow, it'll evolve into Seadra, which is another pure water type. It's I really do not know the stats of Seadra. I want to say it's pretty even around the board. There's no stat that's like super high, and there's no stat that's super low. So there you go. It's a pretty neat water type, although it is pure water. It doesn't get too many good moves in this game, but you know, whatever. In this game, a new evolution for it was added. Seadra will evolve into Kingdra when you trade it with the Dragon Scale. It's the only Pokemon that'll evolve by trading with the Dragon Scale. And it becomes a Water Dragon type, which is a fantastic typing, because it's the only weakness that it can possibly have is, Dragon, against Dragon. Although, if what they say about Fairy type is true, Kingdra will soon enough be weak to Fairy type as well. But that's for another day. In this game, he's only weak to Dragon, which is a very uncommon type, especially in this game when there's basically just Kingdra and the Dratini family, and that's it. but you know, whatever. And Kingdra also has pretty even stats around the board. They all range somewhere between 80 to 100, I want to say. He has really low speed for what he is at only 80.
20 minutes later.
Anyway. God damn it, I completely forgot that I did that, and I just talked right through it. I think I might go in and just silence myself right there for a minute. But yeah, seriously, I'm just gonna shut up about Kingdra. It's a pretty good Pokemon, I like it, but a lot of people use it in VGC and competitive battles, so that makes me not like it so much. Anyways, here we have a Lugia, which is that legendary Pokemon we were trying to find. And just like the other legendary bird Pokemon here, Ho-Oh, it has access to recover. So what it's going to do is it's going to do some damage. When it gets low on health, it's going to recover, never giving you a chance to throw Pokeballs at it, which is complete and total crap. So we're gonna sit here for a very long time. We have it confused. We have it at about 25% health left, maybe 33, kind of, maybe 30. And now we're just gonna chuck Ultra Balls, hope the confusion goes through to weaken it a little more, and stop it from recovering. If it doesn't go through and he just gets the attack in, we hope it's not recover. And that's about the best that you can do for this fight. Now, you could raise the argument, well, Mateo, you could just throw the Master Ball at it and then you don't have to worry about its recovers. Except for the fact that Ho-Oh also has recover, so he's just as annoying as Lugia. So if you Master Ball one of them, you still have to worry about the other and mess with them, and it's just no fun. That took literally like another 20 minutes after that 20-minute cut. So I just cut it out to the point where the Ultra Ball finally worked. We're just gonna use an escape rope now to get out of here. Lugia is a really neat Pokemon. He has a Psychic Flying typing, which in this game was really uncommon. Only Xatu and Natu really had it as well. So he's got a really neat typing, and he's a legendary Pokemon, so he's really powerful as well. In later games, he got the Marvel Scale ability, which is a very, very good ability, and he's just a really neat Pokemon. I like his design and everything. His wings kind of look like they could also be hands, like you saw them. His feather things look like they could be fingers, which I always thought was really neat. Speaking of things that I used to think, when I was young, I'm talking like elementary school, maybe middle school. I want to say elementary school though, that way it sounds more understandable. I used to think that there was a type called Hyper type. And basically, Hyper type was a super powerful type that was super effective against some things, and it was either super or normal effective against things. Nothing resisted it, and it wasn't like weak against anything, but it wasn't it didn't resist anything either. So it was kind of like normal in that regards, but without fighting as well. And the only Hyper type move was Hyper Beam. And Lugia was a Hyper Flying type Pokemon. Now I have no idea what the heck Hyper is exactly supposed to be. I just know that in the game, you know how they have those, like the type and the little type bar, and like electric is yellow and fire is red or whatever. Hyper was supposed to be orange. That's about all I figured out about Hyper type, even though it didn't exist. Like I said, I was really dumb as a kid and just like thought things about games that weren't true. Another example is in the finale of Super Mario 64, I talked about how I thought that the giant Princess Peach painting at the very front of the outside of the castle was another world that you can access by using the cannon. But that's not a thing as well. It would be really neat if that was a thing, but it's not. Also, we are finally evolving our other two Tyrogue. I already talked about how to evolve them. Basically, it's based on stats at level 20. Attack equal to defense, you'll get him on top. Defense above attack, you'll get him on Chan. And attack above defense, you'll get him on Lee. So that's all of them. I think we also breeded a Magmar to get a Mag B. I mentioned earlier that you can't get Magmar in this game. You have to trade him from Silver. That actually is not true. I was informed by a viewer. It's been a long time, so I'm sorry. I forget who you were. But their comment is there, and since I'm mega unpopular, it's probably like the only comment on that video. You can actually catch Magmar in Silver Cave during the day. Also, doing a little bit of trading from Yellow, we get the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. And that's the only way that you can get them. You have to trade them from Pokemon Yellow, and if you are wondering how to get those Pokemon, go check out my Pokemon Yellow Let's Play. Shameless plug, oh yeah. Next up, we get Mewtwo and Mew, also traded from Pokemon Yellow. That's the only way to get them. Mew you can get from a glitch in Pokemon Yellow, and I do that. I think that, yeah, I'm pretty sure Mew is the very last Pokemon that I caught in Pokemon Yellow, so that'll be pretty easy to find. It's pretty much in the last video. And then, Mewtwo, I think, was also caught in the last video of my Pokemon Yellow Let's Play. So again, if you want to see those guys getting caught, go over there. Yeah, another shameless plug. I kind of forgot to show it, but I traded Cyndaquil over from Gold, and I evolved it, but I forgot to show the Cyndaquil, so just know that I got a Cyndaquil. I just showed it when it was a Quilava because I kind of jumped the gun in evolving it, and forgot to show it. We also got Totodile, who evolves at level 18, strangely enough. He'll evolve in the Crocodile, which is a really neat water type. I really like Typhlosion's and Feraligator's design. Like, they look super awesome. Unfortunately, in these games, they're not too good, but they do get upgrades in later games. Like, the physical special split really helps out Feraligator, because he's more of a physical attacker, but water is a special type in this game, so he loses that stab, and then he also gets, like, Ice Punch and stuff for coverage. Feraligator evolves at level 30, by the way, and I think Quilava evolves around 32. I want to say. That sounds right at the very least. Okay, we also traded a Mareep from Gold or Silver. For whatever reason, they don't let you catch one in Crystal, which I think is kind of dumb considering it's like the main electric type, but you know, that's a decision they went with, I guess. So Mareep evolves at some super low level, like 15, but I have one at 42. I've already talked about that twice now, so I don't feel like I have to talk about it again. And then Flaffy evolves at like level 30 or something close to that into Ampharos, which is a really neat looking electric type. I mean, I like the design behind it, but just it seems like everybody in their Crystal or Heart Gold or Soul Silver playthrough uses Ampharos. So because of that, I tried to stay away from it and give some other lesser used Pokemon some love. I'm kind of a hipster when it comes to using certain Pokemon. By trading a Poliwhirl with the King's Rock attached, you can get Politoed, and by trading a Slowpoke with the King's Rock attached, you'll get Slow King. So that's another 2 Pokemon we can add to the Pokedex. Next up, traded from, I think you can only catch this one in Gold. I'm not entirely sure about that at all, though. It might be both of them. You just can't catch Girafarig in Crystal, I know that. It is a normal Psychic type, which is kind of weird. I mean, normal is not really paired up with types other than flying. But it's an alright Pokemon. It's not the best, but it's alright, at the very least. Next we have the Metal Coat Evolvers. By having Onix hold the Metal Coat and trading it, you can get Steelix, and by having Scyther hold the Metal Coat and trading it, you will get Scizor, and both of which are really cool. Scizor is definitely like a really strong Pokemon. Steelix is very defensive, but Scizor kind of really outclasses him in usability, in my opinion. And in lots of people's opinions too. I mean, Scizor is like one of the top 10 most used in VGC, so there you go. Next up, traded from Gold and Silver. I think both of them have it. You can get a Remoraid, which at level 25 will evolve into an Octillery, which is a really neat design for a Pokemon. Like, I really like how Octillery works. I just wish that you could get him earlier and also get him in this game. I mean, I've always wanted to use him. Alright, we just took that Seadra that we just recently evolved and traded it with the Dragon Scale to get Kingdra over there. Again, it's a Water Dragon type, I talked about it earlier. And then by having Porygon hold the upgrade item that we got from Silphco, we can trade him over and get Porygon 2, which is a pretty neat Pokemon. I like his design, and he's rather defensive. He's a really cool Pokemon that I always wanted to use, but couldn't because I really never had access to trading Pokemon. Next up in the Silver Cave at nighttime, we can catch a Misdreavus, if it will ever let us, but that'll be yet another Pokemon to add to our Pokedex. And I think at this point we have, like, 230 to 240 Pokemon, so we just jumped up, like, 20 or 30 Pokemon with this video. Again, it's another supplementary video, I know, but I mean, we basically have to do this to finish up the Pokedex. Because of me wanting to put off the trades until after I beat the main game and the after game, other than the final boss, we have all this trading stuff to do now, so it really wasn't spaced out too well. But, oh well, it's a thing. Anyways, in the next part, more of this, and another black screen.